Good evening, everyone. I find that I'm filled with a lot of gratitude tonight because I'm not at the physical Zendo very often, and I'm just aware of all the work that goes into putting on one of these broadcast ceremonies. So I really want to thank Ryotan Roshi for organizing this, and everyone who has done a service position tonight, both in the Zendo and online. I just appreciate it so much. So at the beginning of our Fusatsu ceremony tonight, we atone for all our evil, unskillful karma. We're at one with it. And as Dogen tells us, as soon as we're at one with all our evil karma, past and present, and also future, we immediately clear it. That happens not by magic. We don't look any different, really, but it happens because every moment is a new moment. We die in each moment, and we're reborn in each moment. As Maizumi Roshi used to say when he did the precept ceremony, he'd sprinkle the group with water and he'd say, everything is new and fresh. It's a new moment. It wasn't the water that cleared the karma. It wasn't the water that conveyed the wisdom. The water was simply a symbol that when we are at one with this moment, at one with all the evil karma, it's cleared. It's a new moment. We can go on, we can do better. We, in other words, can practice. Since every moment is a new moment, we never arrive. And our vow to be ethical human beings, it's not like we get off at the last stop and say, oh, I've been working all these years, now I'm an ethical human being. No, it's a practice, moment by moment by moment. And that's one reason we bow so much, you know. When we put our head down, that ego isn't there and everything comes in. We're at one with the whole shebang. And our evil karma is cleared. What I'd like to suggest tonight, though, is it's not only important to clear our evil karma, it's also important to clear our good, our fortunate, our favorable karma, not to stick to our pride about something we think we've done right in the past. Because guess what? It's a new moment. We're at one with all our good karma. It's cleared. But now it's a new moment. How will we behave in this moment? How will we meet this moment? How will we express our non-separation with all beings and all that is? So just as it's a mistake to disavow our evil, unskillful karma and not be at one with it, it's also a mistake to grasp at and clutch at our good, our fortunate, our aren't we good Buddhist type of karma. That's also a mistake because there's nothing to cling to. It's a new moment. Our evil karma is cleared. Our good karma is cleared. We have a wonderful example in the literature of a man who couldn't clear his good karma, and many of you are familiar with this story. Emperor Wu was an emperor in China who was a very devoted Buddhist, probably quite a good man, it seems like, very well intentioned. And Buddhism at this time had been in China for about 200 years. But now there was a sage from India who was going to come for a visit. His name was Bodhidharma. And he was going to bring the Zen perspective, which had not yet arrived in China. And so Emperor Wu was delighted, and he arranged for a great reception to honor this sage. And when Bodhidharma landed, he had Bodhidharma brought to him with great pomp and ceremony. And then right off the bat, he clings, he attaches to his good karma, or what he thinks of as his good karma, his good Buddhist karma. And he says to Bodhidharma, you know, I'm one of the greatest supporters of Buddhism. I've done so much for this practice in this country. I've built monasteries. I've supported monks. I even every once in a while go out and give a Dharma talk myself. Tell me, how much merit have I gained? So here's a man who thinks he has some kind of essential existence, that his good works are hanging off of him like baubles on a Christmas tree, and that he gets merit for having all these baubles. Well, Bodhidharma throws cold water in his face and he says, no merit whatsoever. The person who did all those good works has already gone by. It's a new moment. I'm not interested. I want you to show me some life now. Show me your life now. And the emperor says, who are you who stands before me? And Bodhidharma says, I don't know. How could he know? That moment too has already gone by. And as we know, Bodhidharma's ability to inhabit that moment led him to leave the court and cross the river and sit for 9 years in a cave near Shaolin Monastery until his true successor came along. He was practicing I don't know. He was teaching the emperor and the court I don't know. But of course, the emperor, well-intentioned that he was, didn't understand. And his advisor said to him, "Do you know who that was?" The emperor says, "I don't know." Well, that's a different kind of I don't know. The advisor said, "That was an incarnation of Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva." And the emperor, hearing this, was very sorry. And he wanted to send his men out to find Bodhidharma and bring him back. And the advisor says, "Your Majesty, even if you sent every person in China out after him, he would never return." How could he return? The moment has already gone by. So, what does this impermanent nature of reality have to do with Buddhist ethics, with our practice of the Buddhist precepts? Well, one of the ways we get in trouble is by sticking, just like Emperor Wu stuck to his many accomplishments. And they can lead us to really not realize the spirit of the precepts. And I'll talk about this in relation to the 9th precept, not indulging in anger. And Bodhidharma, our friend Bodhidharma, said, self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the selfless Dharma, not contriving a self is called the precept of not indulging in anger. So what does it mean to contrive a self? Well, in a way, it's not a bad thing because as we've seen, reality goes by in a lightning flash. It has no enduring substance at all. And yet, as human creatures living on planet Earth, we must negotiate reality, and we have this wonderful capacity to draw a mental map of reality. And so I guess last time I was here was for Tongariro, so I can say, well, here I am at Village Zendo temple. And yet this is not the same place I was in then. It's a different place. It's changed. It has different people in it. It's changed. I'm different. I've changed. But it's still important for me to get on the A train and get off at Canal Street and walk here. I can do that because I have a mental map, which gives me a general idea of how to get here and what to do. That's a wonderful capacity we humans have. But the trouble is we continually mix up our contrivance of reality with reality itself, with the lambent thing that is our life, which is the life we share with all beings. And so what Bodhidharma says is not contriving a reality for itself, for the self, or I would say not attaching to the reality that we contrive for the self is the principle of not indulging in anger. Some translations of this precept say not being angry, but I prefer the translation that says not indulging in anger, which is different. So what does it mean not to indulge in anger, not to contrive a reality for the self? The poet and essayist Michael Gorelick has some very perceptive things to say about this. He defined hatred as anger being imprisoned by ideas. Anger being imprisoned by ideas. So anger is just the lambent reality. We know we can sit with it. We can feel it when we're sitting sometimes. It comes up, it feels horrible. It comes through us like a freight train. But like everything else, it has no enduring substance. If we sit with it right where we are, the freight train comes and it goes. And an hour or a couple hours later or the next day, we say, oh, where did that go? I thought it was going to choke me to death. So that's anger. That's not a problem any more than love is a problem. The problem is when we contrive a reality, when we imprison our anger in a network of ideas, Michael Gorelick says, then that's hatred. He's an evil bastard. She's an evil bastard. Oh, he's stuck up. We get entranced by the labels that we're putting on reality. We close our minds, we close our hearts because we think we know. We've made a mental note that next time we see this person, the same freight train is going to come through us because they're the same person. And Gorelick says something which I think is very perceptive. He says, why are our reasons for hating someone always valid, suspiciously valid? It's because we've had a long time to surround our anger with ideas. And we must prove to ourselves beyond any doubt that our hatred is a moral force. In other words, not only is it okay to hate Mr. X, Miss Y, Group Z, it is my moral obligation to hate them because they're blah, 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 whatever the labels I'm assigning to them. We can see this in the politics of our country today. No matter which side you look at, you can see that a lot of people on either side think it is their moral obligation to hate the people on the other side because the people on the other side are fill in the blank. And then Gorelick says, bad behavior and bad ideas are never a reason for hatred. Bad behavior and bad ideas are an opportunity for compassion. Compassion is one of those words that kind of gives me hives. Because as soon as we hear it, we think we know what it is. But I think we can simply say compassion is a placeholder for boundless possibility, for ways we can find to behave when we're not imprisoned by our ideas, when we're just willing to clear our evil karma and our good karma and just be there with what's occurring, just be there with the person or the group that we're being exposed to, and see what comes out of our open mind and open heart. I have no idea what that might be, but I'm always up for giving it a try. It's a practice. Sometimes I succeed, and sometimes I fail. That's sort of the rhythm of practice, isn't it? Try, fail, try again, fail better. This is the continuous practice, not just in Zen, but of all of life. Dogen Zenji points us toward the orientation of not contriving reality for the self. He says, not advancing, not retreating, not real, not empty. There is illumined cloud ocean. There is ornamented cloud ocean. Cloud ocean is just the stuff that's here right now. You can take the perspective of everything that's here right now as illumined Dharma. Equal in the Dharma, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. It's all illumined Dharma. There is illumined cloud ocean. That's one perspective. And then there is ornamented cloud ocean. The cloud ocean, when we realize it as being ornamented by the 10,000 things rubbing up against each other for better or worse. That guy stepped on my foot. Kill! That's ornamented cloud ocean. And of course, our teaching is that there aren't two oceans. There's only the ocean. You can have differing perspectives on it. Dogen says, from one perspective, like if you're in the crow's nest of a ship, the ocean is just a blemishless circle. And you can just see clear to the horizon. No particular features at all. And from the perspective of a fish, well, this little bit of the ocean is my home here. This is where I belong. Illumined, ornamented. The question is, how do you relate to it? How do you be it? Dogen says, don't advance, don't retreat, don't attach, don't push away. Just be here. Be here with this cloud ocean. Don't get attached to your labels. Open your mind. Don't get attached to your emotions. Open your heart. And then take the next step. Not advancing, not retreating. That's what we call wisdom. Taking the next step, whatever that might be, is what we call compassion. And finally, we have the Zen peacemaker's point of view on this precept, which sort of summarizes what it's all about. Transforming suffering into wisdom. This is the precept of not indulging in anger. How do we do it? By being here, by experiencing this. Even if anger is coming up and it's choking us, we don't lash out. Even if anger is coming up and it's choking us, we don't suppress it and let it manifest itself as resentment or passive aggressiveness or whatever. We don't imprison our anger and ideas. We allow the anger to pass through us like a freight train and realize it as the mind of wisdom and compassion. That's a tall order. Fortunately, if we fail at it, it's not a problem, because the next moment will be a different moment. We can try again and again and again. We can fail and fail and fail better, fail better. This is what it is to practice. And this is how the precepts guide our practice.